As you all know, COVID forced us to put many things on hold over the last couple of years. Medical procedures, weddings, and the presentation of our next award. For this, please welcome to the stage past National Commander-in-Chief Doc Schmitz.
First, I got to take out my extensive notes here. Well, comrades, as we all know, there was a heck of a lot of stuff that was missed because of COVID, and that really stinks. One thing I learned over the travels and stuff, I traveled all over the world as chief, and I met tons of people, very impressive people. There were two, however, that stuck out and stood out that were just awesome. One was in Israel. A doctor invented a chip that goes in a prosthesis in the leg, and they do a video thing, and basically it helps the individual get a normal gait when they walk, which was tremendous. He shared that information with the Veterans Administration in the United States because of our contacts with him. The VFW people talked to him and talked to the VA, they talked to each other, and now many, many people are helped. Then I had the opportunity to go to a place called Dubois, Wyoming. And it was a function of the department. The commander had assigned me there. And we were going to this museum. It was a vehicle war museum type thing with a whole bunch of vehicles and equipment. And I thought, yeah, okay. Well, there was this guy who toured us around, told us all this stuff. He knew more about tanks and military equipment, history, the economy that caused the wars, et cetera, et cetera. He showed us this safe. The only other safe in the world as big as this safe is in the Smithsonian Institute. It had every handheld weapon of war that existed. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. This guy, I said, this guy's gotta have a photographic memory. Nobody could know as much information as this man knew. And it turned out he was the guy that made the museum happen. His name was Dan Starks. He was originally from Buffalo, New York. This guy and his family own a lot of tanks. So guess what? Be nice to them because they're all operational. I mean, and his wife, I'm telling you, dynamic. She is one heck of a sharpshooter when it comes to revolvers. So be advised. She did something for the community. Their family's entrenched in the community. She built a bowling alley and a bakery because the kids in the community she felt didn't have anything to do. And on and on. She's involved with her daughter in sponsoring programs to help kids to make sure that when they have their senior parties and stuff, that their keys are in one place and they're in one place and everybody has a good time and nobody gets in trouble. His whole family is devoted to veterans and community. It's unbelievable. I'd like to thank the current administration. I don't know, is the chief back? Not yet? The current administration for allowing this to happen. And was he up here yet? Starks? Oh, there you are. Come on up here. Commander, you got to help me up with this. This is one of his museum grand opening got screwed up too because of COVID. He invited me to his museum, and let me tell you something. I've been to the Smithsonian, I've been Fort Knox for their museum, and I've been to this guy's museum. And from what I've seen, I'm telling you, if you want to go see stuff, go to his museum in Dubois. It is phenomenal. There is a section there for the chosen frozen. Since I was there to start with, the improvements were made. You can see snow coming down over these mannequins with the equipment, and the Vietnam section actually has booby traps in it. and helicopters with the sounds and the visuals. You can see choppers going over your head while you're walking through this one section. It's a little bit freaky, but it's real good. And what does this do for veterans? Let me tell you something. You know how it was like when you had your M16 or whatever? It was like part of your body. Well, all of this equipment triggers in you, triggered in me, different remembrances of different things that occurred to me while I was in the military. Some really good, some funny, and some were really bad and really not good. But I tell you what, this guy and his family and his community are outstanding. And I want to present to him a national award in recognizing this gentleman for all the good stuff he does for veterans and their family. He's one phenomenal son of a gun, and I cleaned that up.
Commander-in-Chief, Gold Medal of Merit and citation awarded to Dan Starks, founder, National Museum of Military Vehicles. In special recognition and sincere appreciation of his outstanding dedication and sharing U.S. military history through the stories of historic military vehicles and the heroes inside, and for his unwavering perseverance in achieving success in creating the National Museum of Military Vehicles. From honoring the service and sacrifice of our veterans and their families to preserving and sharing America's rich military history, the National Museum of Military Vehicles reminds visitors of the true cost of ensuring freedom for all, an endeavor held in the highest regard of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands in the official seal of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States this 20th day of July, 2022. Signed by William J. Doc Schmitz, past Commander-in-Chief, 2019-2020, and Kevin Jones, Adjutant General.
I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I'm going to guess that most of you have never heard of our museum and are looking at each other and saying, "What?" It's because we're new. We just finished our construction in May. We just had our grand opening on Memorial Day weekend. We did a partial opening in August of 2020. We had 40,000 visitors last year without any marketing while we're still in construction. And it's become clear that even though we're new, we're doing something special. We have something special. It's not about the museum at all. It's about you, and it's about what you've done, and it's about your personal histories and your stories. To give you an idea of how your stories are resonating with the civilian American public, we're open for 4 months in 2020. We get recognized as one of the 10 best new attractions in the entire country. We have 40,000 visitors last year while we're still under construction. Those 40,000 visitors provided feedback that resulted in us being recognized as in the top 10% of attractions in the entire world. Now, what's that about? It's all about our telling civilians and telling paying tribute to you and to your families, just telling them your stories. People act like we've invented the wheel, like it's the hottest thing since sliced bread. Who knew? There's such a strong disconnect between so many American civilians and the American veteran community. We're working to bridge that disconnect. All we're doing is we're telling people like me who did not serve, all we're doing is we're saying, did you know what Americans have done and what Americans are still doing? As we tell your stories to the best of our ability, people cry. They get choked up. They think about it for days afterwards. They send us emails days afterwards, and they talk about what an impact the experience they had, learning about your histories, learning about what you did, have had on them. What I want to particularly do, I want to say a little bit of a shout out. We talk about the stories of Americans who served in World War II. We talk about the stories of Americans who served in the Korean War, but I particularly want to talk about a little bit about those of you who served in the Vietnam War. In our museum, we make sure everybody who visits our museum knows you got a raw deal, that you weren't treated the way you deserved to be treated in your time of service and when you came home. We make sure they know about your exposure to Agent Orange. We make sure that they know not only were you exposed to Agent Orange and were you then gaslighted, stonewalled, left on your own for as long as you were, but these kinds of things are still happening with Gulf War syndrome, with burn pit fumes, and we're telling people, we're raising awareness. We're not the ones that are going to advocate the way that this organization advocates for you every day, but we're raising awareness so that when you're advocating for your colleagues and you're advocating for yourselves, there's a larger and larger groundswell of American civilians who are nodding their heads and they're saying, that's not right. And they're saying what you did is just unfathomable. What you did in your service is unfathomable and brings them to tears, and they will forever remember and forever honor you. That's what we're doing in our part of Minnesota, in our part of Wyoming. And I want to thank all of you. I did not serve, as I said earlier. I want to thank all of you for keeping me free, for keeping me safe, for keeping my family safe, for keeping my community safe, for keeping the United States of America safe. I'll be forever indebted to you. I pay my debts. I'll spend the rest of my life doing what I can to give back to all of you and to your families who serve the United States of America. Thank you.